His corpse was found in a guest room on the first floor of the mansion. A demon stake had pierced through his back. The tip of it reached as far as his lungs, because he was lying face down in the bed. It is unthinkable that this was a suicide. Let's go to the parlor. Yes. Dear Awa. Listen up, everyone. From now on, we'll always move as a group. You must not let yourself be isolated. When the culprit attacked Genji, he probably got a master key. It's clear that even locking up will no longer make you safe. But even the chain was set. How did they do it? It's impossible. The shutters and the chain were firmly set. Even with a master key, it'd be impossible to force your way into that room. It must have been Beatrice-sama's doing. There's no way Beatrice-sama did this. The epitaph has been solved, so there shouldn't be any more reason to hold the ceremony. Of course, we can't understand it. This would be impossible for anyone except a witch. Impossible for anyone except a witch, you say? Good. Has a nice ring to it. Erica-chan, are you listening? We've decided to stick together from now on. First, we're carrying Hideyoshi-san's corpse to the parlor. Can you hold off on playing detective until we get there? When she heard the words playing detective, Erica grimaced visibly. Then everyone stumbled out, and she took a single step in a now empty guest room, looked around, and burned the scene into her eyes. Erica claimed to have a photographic memory. If that was true, those few seconds were more than enough for her. Later on, she could sip black tea in the parlor while perusing the photograph of the scene inside her memory, playing the part of an armchair detective. Then suddenly her eyes stopped on the closet off to the side, a closet for hanging overcoats. If it was large enough to fit a coat on a hanger, a person should be able to hide in it. Slowly, Erica stretched her hand out towards the closet. Surprise noises. Erica's shoulder was grabbed roughly from behind. Let's go, Miss Detective. Didn't you ever learn how to stick together on school field trips? Well, whenever I go traveling, someone always dies. Hey, what do you think you're doing, brats? Come, quickly. Rudolph told them to hurry. After clicking her tongue and glaring at the closet, Erica followed Battler back to the parlor for the time being. The sound of their footsteps finally faded. That time of terror when I feared that even the dripping of the cold sweat covering my cheeks might be noticed had finally ended. With my hands still couldn't stop trembling, I slowly opened the closet door and dashed out into the hallway. It's okay, no one's found me. Still, it's a good thing they didn't lock the door. If they had, I wouldn't be able to lock it behind me after I left, and they'd find that suspicious. Anyway, I should leave this place. Then I'll return to my room and pretend that I was sleeping the whole time. Yes, if I don't get back soon, a new murder has occurred. They'll probably try to tell me about it, and they'll probably do it shortly after they carry Hideyoshi-san's corpse back to the parlor. I can get around a phone call by saying I was asleep and didn't notice, but if they come knocking directly, that'll be bad. I have to get back quickly before they try to force their way in. But has it been a whole hour? I don't know whether I should run all out noisily, hide my footsteps and walk in secret, or walk around normally as though nothing has happened. At the very least, it'll be bad if I bump into them on their way back to the parlor. Anyway, I'll head to my room at a quick pace without being noticed by anyone. I pass through the hallway to the lobby. If I go up the big staircase in the lobby, my room is just a little bit off. Natsui-san! Hiya! Just as she was about to go up the large staircase, Natsui heard Erica call out to her, and was so surprised that she visibly jumped. I was just about to go and tell you the news. Thank you very much. Did something happen? Just now, Natsui-san. You were climbing the stairs, right? Your room is upstairs, isn't it? Erica coldly pointed out this strange fact. Natsui cursed her bad luck. I couldn't sleep, so I was going to return to the parlor, but I wasn't sure whether I had locked my room or not, so I was about to head back. That's actually a solid. I'm a worrier, so this sort of thing happens a lot. Don't worry about it. Yeah, that sort of thing does happen a lot. It's a common quirk among people who aren't confident in their memory. Normally, since Erika was clearly making fun of her, Natsui might have looked annoyed. However, right now, Natsui was extremely relieved to hear that Erika admit that sort of thing happened a lot. Why are you by yourself, Erika-san? I thought I'd investigate that guest room. Guest room? Yep. This situation's gotten pretty serious, hasn't it? And investigating the scene of a crime is my right. Erika's probing gaze peered deep into Natsui's eyes. She could tell Erika already suspected Natsui. Judging by the subtle nuance in her words, she must be planning to make me slip up and reveal that I know about the crime of Hideyoshi, when I supposedly haven't been told about it yet. Natsui played dumb and asked what had happened again. Is something wrong? No, it's nothing. This is just a repeat of the first crime, isn't it? What do you mean? Again, you were in your room, and again, you can't prove your alibi, can you? I don't know what you mean. To turn it around, how can you prove that I wasn't in my room? Ah, that. Then let's take this one step at a time. Please, worry about your lock later. I have something vitally important to discuss with everyone. It'll come back after I check my lock. Please get started without me. Hideyoshi-san has been killed. We'll be talking about that. What? She had planned on using the need to check her lock as an excuse to escape to her own room, after which she would claim to have a sudden headache and stay in bed the rest of the time. However, now that she had been informed of Hideyoshi's murder, it would clearly be suspicious to postpone that and escape to her room. She was already under suspicion just because she'd been seen heading up the stairs to the second floor. She couldn't afford to do anything else suspicious. Natsui gave up and headed for the parlor as Erika had urged her to do. When she opened the door to the parlor, Ava's sobs poured out, and everyone glanced at Natsui with grave faces. Those gazes almost made it look as though they suspected Natsui. It was now painfully apparent to Natsui this must have been what that man was after. It was a trap to create a baffling closed-room mystery and try to frame her for it. However, she couldn't have resisted. She couldn't sacrifice her husband's life. And while it's true I hid in the closet, that's all I did. I definitely haven't committed murder. I might be extremely suspicious, but I'm not the culprit. And most importantly, I'm not under suspicion yet. I'll tell the police everything. I'll have to endure until then. I'm sure one of the servants is a traitor. Even in a situation like this, if I mention my husband being held hostage, the culprit will hear and might use it as an excuse to kill him. Natsui-san has just come back. Now that we're all here, I have something very important to discuss with you all. Something very important? Yes, it's very important. I'd like to lay out everything in front of you all, starting with the first crime. Then please do that with just the others. I think we should leave that sort of thing to the police. I'm not interested. Since I have it all laid out, this is a very important thing to discuss. Neither you nor anyone else has the right to refuse. What? Erika used her detective's authority to proclaim the start of an assembly. None of the pieces could disobey. Praying that she wouldn't become the topic of conversation, Natsui reluctantly sat on the sofa as she had been urged to do. Urged to. Oh, sorry. Could you close that door for me? Yes. Shannon and Cannon closed the door. Since it had been decided a short while ago to lock all doors and windows carefully, Cannon locked it. That lock, which existed to protect the safety of this room, felt like a lock on a prison cell to Natsui, one that would hold her in place and prevent any escape. Natsui still hadn't noticed. Though Erika had gone to the corridor to check the crime scene at Hideyoshi's room, her goal had changed. In other words, from Erika's point of view, the sound of that lock was truly checkmate. Erika said that suddenly. Byrne Castell said that suddenly. Oh, fast. Wow, so you figured out the culprit already? We've barely gotten to any of the crimes, right? You could have just let me kill a few more and gathered a few clues yourself. Okay, Lambda, gather all the pieces. Now we're getting to the most interesting part. Let's both enjoy it to the fullest. Well, let's see. Why don't you show me what you've got? To think she'd lay down the challenge without waiting for the game set at 12 o'clock at midnight. What a hasty person that Lady Berncastel. It is quite an early challenge. To think that she's already managed to obtain a winning hand at this stage? Normally you can win just by claiming that a witch exists, but with Natsui and Kinzo we've got a lot to need to protect this time. Sounds like this fight will be a pain. That's no problem at all. I won't let them do as they please with my golden island any longer. Bring it on, Lady Berncastel, Furudo Erica.
They will probably trade the coin for something like something else. And like the ghost guarding the sword probably needs
Drink some Sprite.
something. So it's like a very long fetch quest where we have to figure out like what's the proper order of what can I get now.
In the Golden Land, the endless rain continued to fall. Battler was nowhere to be seen. It would very soon reach the time that Battler had joined in on the 5th game, and control of the pieces would be passed on to Battler. By the way, this means that if in other words, he would only be officially added to the game now in this final stage, where Berncastel had pinpointed the culprit. So, he had left the arbor a short while ago. Now, the only ones in sight were Virgilia, who continued to knit silently, and Beatu, who just sat there blankly amidst the smell of her black tea. And that also means largely Berncastel is responsible for a lot of Battler's moves, which includes the thwarting of Furudo and stopping her from the closet, who just sat there blankly amidst the smell of her black tea, not even putting the cup to her lips. Virgilia stopped knitting for a moment and looked out across the vast golden rose garden that extended as far as the eye could see. I believe it's safe to say that at least in the game over, who the culprit is, Battler has gained such strength that he will never surrender again. By the 4th game, you would send him all your messages. In other words, at this time, Battler-kun is capable of realizing the truth at any moment. However, he is still soft in some ways, so even if the games continue like this 100 times, he won't solve it for all eternity. He will just wander forever like someone trying to find the blue bird. And that is you, Beatrice. It's the same for you. Even if this game continues hundreds more times, you will never reach the answer you seek for all eternity. Berncastel will abuse this game without a doubt. Lambda Delta will also churn this game about with the utmost arrogance. At a glance, that may be humiliating and appear to you and Battler as though the game has been stolen from you. However, that is something the two of you need right now to end Battler's naive softness, to end your hesitation. And that's why you called the two of them here, to end the eternal torture between you. Those two will bring you either victory or defeat. But no matter how it goes, that result has already been filled with compassion. You should understand that as well by now. Virgilia faced Beatu, whom she had come to adore as a daughter, with cold eyes that she must not have shown often. It was like the gaze of a mother who, instead of scolding, silently urges their child to recognize their mistake. Beatrice, how long do you intend to stay there, neither alive nor dead, not rising up to heaven nor falling into hell, there on the peak of Mount Purgatory? I am Virgilia. I have guided him through purgatory, and brought Dante, him to you at its peak, and you are Beatrice. You must choose whether to take his hand and rise up to heaven, or grab him and fall into hell. Did you know that the discord called purgatory, which lies in the gap between heaven and hell, is sometimes more torturous than even hell itself? On the gates of hell it is written that you must abandon all hope. A human without hope can accept their suffering and give up. However, the residents of purgatory have hope. A hope of possibly reaching heaven. A hope that cannot be abandoned. And it tortures them. Even in the depths of hell, no greater torture device exists than the single pen known as hope. Fly, fly from the cliffs of purgatory. Take with you the regrets caused by your fleeting, fragile, foolish hopes, and open up Pandora's box. Are you scared? Scared of opening the box? Beato was silent. With a single tear, she nodded slightly. Is the cat in the box alive or dead? The time has now come to check. If the cat is dead, quickly hold a funeral for it and have it rise to heaven. If the cat is alive, quickly feed it and give it all of your affection. Whether it is alive or dead, your cat box eternally desecrates the cat. The key to the box that you were afraid to open has been brought to you by those two. Beatrice, it's time for you to die now. I hope that your heart is stopped by the hand of the person you desire.
You approach the gate cautiously.
That's quite a few hours going by. What the fuck did we do during all that time? Are we going all the way to 12 o'clock? Yes, we are. So did we have cookies during that time? Or some Pepsi? I mean, I assume we had food, right? I drink my Sprite. Everyone's like, why are you drinking Pepsi right now? Because it's a bit of caffeine. I don't want to stay up forever. I need to go to bed so I can go back to work.
As you reach the
Sleep is important. All the pieces from the game board were gathered. All of the humans, furniture, witches, and the witches on an even higher level had gathered in one place. That place was a solemn cathedral with an unbelievably high ceiling, white stonework, golden ornaments. Though there were windows, there were no entrances or exits. It was a strange, strange place, but for some reason no one wondered where this strange place was.